Hello, 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 hello.
Same routine.
Okay, let's see. Give me just 1 second. We got. Okay, welcome for anybody who is out there. We are going live stream. So we are streaming on TikTok. We are streaming on YouTube, long and shorts. And we are streaming on X. So welcome everybody. Sunday, late afternoon. It's late afternoon for me. I'm based out in Chicago, so it's about 5 o'clock here, and I thought I'd pop on and see about having a little conversation around some of the AI news that's come out this past week, and maybe recapping what's been going on with OpenClaw and some of the stories around that, if that's of interest to you. I'm also happy to answer any questions. So if you've got questions either about me or about AI in general, or about how you can potentially implement some AI skills in your day-to-day job to make you stand out. So my little graphic here of the elk, or the elks and the zebras, is basically trying to share with you, trying to provide some value, in the sense that you need to start thinking about yourself as a zebra and not as an elk. In other words, you need to stand out at work. How do you stand out at work when it comes to AI? Well, we can talk about that. Again, my name my name's Joe. I go pretty much by Solutions Joe on most of the social media platforms, except for LinkedIn, where I'm a solutions architect with nearly 30 years in the tech industry. So you have questions, comments related to AI, what you can do with AI, how you can implement AI, welcome Owen, and we can talk about that, okay? So here's some interesting news that happened this past week. And again, if you've got questions or comments related to how you might implement AI in your job, what you can do to make yourself more relevant in your job with AI, let's talk about it. I use it every day in my day-to-day work routine. I also use it outside of work. I'm very, very familiar with it. And I think it can help you make yourself stand out like a zebra. Okay, so again, my name is Joe, and I'm a solutions architect. Welcome, Michael. We are streaming on multiple platforms. We're streaming on TikTok and YouTube, and we're streaming on X as well. So if you have questions, comments related to AI, drop them in, and we can talk about that. Okay. If we want to talk about in general what's happened this past week, well, OpenClaw has been the big topic over the last couple of weeks. And if you're familiar with OpenClaw at all, it's basically a framework that was dropped as a GitHub project. It was dropped by a gentleman named Peter Steinberger, I believe his last name is, lead developer on the project, but a lot of contributors to that project as well. Now, it's the internet's kind of gone crazy related to the OpenClaw, which was originally named ClawdBot, and then they changed the name from ClawdBot to MoltBot, and then they changed it to then they went in and they changed it to OpenClaw for a variety of reasons. But some interesting things happened over that time period. So one of the things that happened is many people got scammed out of millions of dollars, or at least the scammers got away with millions of dollars. And this was because of the name changes and because of the fast-acting scammers out there who set up a meme coin, which is a form of cryptocurrency. They were able to basically scam the community, the OpenClaw community, and scam them out of millions and millions of dollars. And the lead developer, Peter, he's apologized profusely to the community at large. He had nothing to do with it. It's unfortunate, but that's the way the internet is. The internet is full of scammers, unfortunately. It can be a very dangerous place. So, having said that, hopefully you will be smart and don't fall for any of the scammers out there when it comes to anything related to cryptocurrency and anything related to OpenClaw. Now, the other problem with OpenClaw is that many people have deployed this complex project onto their local machines, and they have now found themselves hacked. So there's many different ways that a scammer or a hacker can get into your computer, especially if you install something like OpenClaw that has got so many security holes in it by default. These security holes are just there by default because of the simple design of OpenClaw. But they can be these security holes can be closed, or you can harden your overall deployment. But it takes the knowledge and the understanding of somebody who has a domain expertise in hardening for cybersecurity purposes and or for others. So if you've got questions, comments, anything general in terms of AI, feel free to drop them in and we can have a conversation. Other things in the news related to AI has been some new features and functions that have been dropped by Claude Code, new features and functions dropped by OpenAI. These things are evolving very, very quickly. Also, if you're looking for some tips and tricks in terms of your own job with AI, feel free to ask a question. Happy to give you some insight. Welcome, Robert. And again, we're streaming on multiple platforms. I should be able to see pretty much everybody's chat coming in. So if you've got questions, comments, drop them. Happy to have a conversation on it. Welcome, Linda. Again, thanks for dropping in. So who out there is going to go to work tomorrow, which is Monday morning, and when you go into work, are you going to be using AI? Do you know how to use AI? Is your bosses and your management putting pressure on you to use AI and implement it within your specific job role? And do you have any clue in terms of how to do that? Because a lot of these companies now are asking their employees to utilize AI within their work, daily work, but they're not giving them any real details or instructions on how to. In fact, they're actually looking to the employees themselves to come back and tell management how they're actually utilizing AI in their roles. Literally all 7, welcome. So if you've got questions or comments related to how you might be able to use AI in your role at work to make yourself stand out as a zebra and not blend in as the elks, let me know. I will try to answer and give you some clear direction if you can give me some context of, okay? Here's the key thing. In yesteryear, okay, you wanted to blend in. Your parents probably told you, your friends probably told you at work, don't stand out. Just blend in. Just go along with the status quo. Okay, those days are over. Okay, and why are they over? Because when it comes time for management to make decisions is related to who they're keeping around and who they're letting go, it's going to be based on who's standing out, not who's blending in. And you're only going to be able to stand out as that zebra, if you will, if you are embracing AI and implementing it on a daily basis within your job routine. Okay? It's really that simple. So if you got questions or comments related to how you might be able to do that, drop them into chat there, and I'm happy to try to answer them for you. Questions, comments, let me know. So who's using AI every day? That's what I want to know. Who is using AI every day in their role? I can tell you that I am. I use it each and every day. And I find new ways of using it in my role every day as well, which, to be honest, is somewhat mind-blowing for me, because I am a solutions architect, very technical, and so to be able to come up with new ways to implement AI within my job role is pretty mind-blowing for me, just because I think I know everything until I find out that I really don't know everything. Just a girl Noah. Hello, just a girl Noah. Some of the usernames are pretty funny. So welcome. If you got questions or comments related to anything AI related, AI news, you got a question about me, feel free to drop it in. I'm happy to try to answer it for you. Hello, Dale. You got questions about AI, how you can use it within your work role? Let me know. I'm happy to give you some advice. Happy to try to make you that zebra standing out at work instead of the elk blending in. Especially blending into what is likely going to be more layoffs being announced over the next couple months here. Questions, comments, drop them in. Let's go. So, who is using AI in their everyday job? And are you trying to make yourself stand out like a zebra? Or are you trying to blend in and hoping that when the layoffs are announced that somehow you are overlooked? You got questions, comments, drop them in. Again, we're streaming on multiple platforms, but I should be able to see everybody's chat. How are we all doing on this Sunday afternoon? You get questions, comments, drop them in the chat. Let's see if I can help you out. So, we're talking AI news, how you can use AI within your current job role to become a zebra, as you can see on the screen there, and avoid being an elk, because the elks are going to get slaughtered, and the zebras are going to be the ones this time around who survive, at least for some period of time. You got questions, comments, drop them into chat. Let's see what you got. Questions, comments, dropping into chat. Let's have a little conversation around how we can make you a zebra in your office. That's what you want. That's what you need. You need to stand out and become that zebra. Questions, comments, welcome Graham. Got questions or comments? Hello, Gabby. Welcome. Got questions or comments around how to become that zebra in your office with AI skills? Let's talk about what you do and how you can get there. Drop it in chat. Let me know what kind of role you have. I just had a relative reach out to me asking me these exact same questions. She's got a new job. She wants to know how she can become more relevant at work using AI. So I will be doing a little recording with her and giving her some tips and then sharing that with everybody else as well. So if you've got questions, comments, drop them in. Let's go. What do you want to know? What do you want to know about AI? What do you want to know about the latest and greatest news? What do you want to know about how to stand out? Pam Jam. I like that. Welcome, Pam Jam. Let's go. You got questions, comments, drop them in chat. Stream it on multiple platforms. TikTok, X, YouTube. We're streaming on YouTube's short and longs, or short and landscape. So let's go. Drop your questions, comments.
Windows down. Somewhere.
Let's go.
Skyscraper, seagulls. We right there.
Pulled off, stay hit LSD. Shoulders loose, got the breeze on me. High rises lean like they're trying to see. Who that kid from the EAST? Little sand on my J's from the Montrose stretch. Shoreline shine, the horizon flex.
Welcome, user 210. You got questions, comments? Drop them. We're streaming on multiple platforms. TikTok, X, YouTube long and short. Drop your comments. Hello, mailman. You got questions, comments? Let's go. How can you make yourself relevant at the office? Hello, Trips. Nice to meet ya. You got questions, comments about how to keep yourself relevant in AI at work, in the office? Become that zebra. Drop your comments, drop your questions. Let's talk about what you can do and how to use some of these tools. Who out there has been using Gemini? Who out there has been using OpenAI's GPT, and who's been using Claude? Do you have a preference? Personally, I've been using all three. I use all three pretty much regularly. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. Let's have a conversation. So if your boss comes to you tomorrow, Monday morning, bright and early, and says, what is your plan today for implementing AI in your role? What are you going to say? What's going to be your response? And if they ask you, how have you been using AI in your role? Because if you remember, we asked you about 6 months ago to start using AI that we're paying for in your role at work. What are you going to say? Hey, Kent, welcome to the conversation. We're streaming on multiple platforms, TikTok, YouTube, X. We have conversations and questions coming in from multiple platforms. Anybody has questions related to AI and how they can improve their standing at work in terms of making themselves more relevant with AI, drop your questions, comments, and I will give you some tips and tricks to use regardless of what your role is, non-technical or technical. Again, my name's Joe, Solutions Architect. Been working in tech for nearly 30 years. I use AI each and every day in my role, and I also use it in my side work as well. Questions, comments, drop them in chat. Let's go. Hello, Nick at Night and Mr. Orumbaka. Welcome, welcome. Let's talk about AI and how you can use it within the role that you currently have at your job and what things are going to look like for you come Monday morning. Yeah, questions, comments, drop them in chat. Let me know how you're using AI in your everyday role. Let me know what your bosses are telling you. Let me know what management is telling you in terms of using AI at your current job. How are you going to stand out like that zebra? Say hi. Hello, Luke. Got questions, comments regarding AI, how you can use it within your current role at work, making yourself more like a zebra, standing out, more value? Drop your questions, drop your comments. Give me some insight. I'll give you some value add back on how you can continue to become more relevant and stand out, which is what you're going to need to do if you want to survive the next wave of AI layoffs. Let's have a conversation. Hello, user 5644. Welcome, welcome. Hello, John. So, and by the way, if you happen to be an OpenClaw user, for Pete's sake, please change your default password and make sure you lock down that control center URL so it's not publicly exposed. And I'd be very cautious about leaving that process running overnight, unmonitored. Get yourself a prompt injection coming in through any one of the channels you might have open for that OpenClaw instance, and you may find yourself waking up to one hell of a large LLM token bill. Hey, Zeke. Hello, Gabriella. Hello, Bill. Got questions, comments related to AI? Drop them in there. If you want to know how you can become more relevant at work using AI, let me know. I'm happy to give you some insight. Hey, Zeke. Welcome back. So we are streaming on multiple platforms again. So if you got questions, drop them in. So I've got a niece who just recently came to me asking me these exact same questions. She just got a new job. She wants to keep that job and she wants to stand out at it. And they've already told her, we are expecting you to use AI, specifically Gemini. So she's reached out to me and she's asked what can she do given her current role, which is kind of in the marketing area. So I'm going to walk her through, and as I walk her through the various things she can do to leverage AI in her roles, I'm going to also record that and I'll be sharing that with everybody. The bottom line is there really is no limitations in terms of how you can use AI in any role you have. Whether that role is a marketing or an administrative role or an operational role or a technical role, consulting role, like myself, you can use it in so many different ways. And what I tell people is you've got to think AI first, okay? You need to get that mindset change that we have all obviously developed with for so many years, really since the history of the world, and that is, thinking that everything we approach has to be human first, right? We moved into a completely different world where now you've got to shift your mind or your mindset so that when you're attacking problems, hey Jojo, welcome, you need to think AI first, okay? You got a problem, start with breaking that problem down into smaller components and then figure out how, hey Bob, figure out how AI can solve each one of those components one by one. And as you solve those problems one by one of the larger problem, you eventually are going to end up with a solution that AI can help you get to and make it a repeatable process. Next time you have that same problem, especially if it's a common problem, you're going to be able to solve it even faster. And that's where potentially agents come into play. So if you've got questions and comments, drop them in. They can be specific to your role. Hey, Shelby, welcome. If you got questions and comments specific to your current role in your job and trying to understand how you can best use AI in that role to make yourself stand out, drop that comment, drop that question. I'm happy to try to give you some insight and some advice on what you can do. Again, welcome. We're streaming on multiple platforms. We are streaming on TikTok and YouTube Long, YouTube Shorts, and X. Welcome back, Zeke. I think if I remember correctly, Zeke, you're out or down in Atlanta. Hope all is well. So, you got questions, comments, drop them in, and I will try to give you some insight. Now, again, I'll just throw this out there for anybody who is thinking about North Carolina. I knew it was down south somewhere. I think North Carolina I've been to. Very nice. South Carolina, I don't think I've ever had the pleasure. Hi, Billy. Welcome. Swain and Game. Welcome. So if you guys have questions, comments related to AI, we're streaming on multiple platforms, TikTok, YouTube, and X. We're talking about AI, how you can get more relevant in your job if that's what you need to do. And I can tell you that if you have a job, that is exactly what you need to do. You need to become more relevant using AI. You need to become that zebra and stand out among the elks, which are your fellow employees. If you can do that, your opportunity for keeping that job, okay, and weathering some of the storm that we are in the middle of with AI layoffs is going to be far greater than if you do not embrace it. And for a lot of people, it's still very, very confusing, very nebulous in terms of what it is and what it can do for you. So you got questions, comments, drop them in there. Just let me know what role you have at your current job, and I will give you some insight on how you can potentially use it. Let's have a conversation. Let's keep this going. Again, we're streaming on multiple platforms, TikTok, X, and YouTube, and I'm here to try to give you guys some insight on how you can leverage AI in your current role. Again, I'm a solutions architect, been in the tech business for nearly 30 years, and I use it each and every day, both in and out of the office. Hello, Miriam, welcome. So you got questions, comments, drop them. Let's have a conversation. And thank you for the hearts. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. Pierre. Good French name, Pierre. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully nobody's having to deal with the winter storm. Babu. Hello, welcome. Got questions, comments? Drop them in there. Anything I can do to help you guys out with becoming more relevant in your current role at work using AI, that is what I'm here for, at least for today. And future streams will involve more hands-on and how-tos. But today is a lazy day for me. So I thought I'd jump on, see if I can offer somebody some advice, because tomorrow morning comes Monday, right? And Monday morning, everybody's back in the office or back to work, and typically Sunday nights become a bit stressful. So that is what I'm here for. And thank you very much for the hearts. I really appreciate that. And I will be honest, when it comes to TikTok, because I am streaming on multiple platforms, when it comes to TikTok, I am still trying to figure out some of the craziness that goes on this platform. Specifically with the lives, it's very interesting. I've seen people who have live streams, and their whole purpose behind their live streams seems to be to gather as many, I guess, rewards and gifts as possible. But the only thing that they're offering is telling people that somehow giving them gifts and rewards is benefiting them. I don't quite understand that. Scratch my head. There's a woman I keep running into. She does lives, and she is funny as hell. But anyways, that's a whole different topic. So if you got questions, comments around how you can become more relevant using AI at work, because at this point in time, if you work for any sizable company, they are looking to you as the employee to tell them how you're going to use AI in your everyday role to become more productive, okay? How you're going to use it to become more productive, and how you're going to produce better quality work with using AI. They're looking to you for that answer. Well, if they're looking to you for that answer and you don't know the answer to that question or how you're going to implement it, where you're going to go for that advice and for that direction, well, hopefully you can come here, okay? And I'm happy to try to give you some very clear direction and steps and potentially things you can implement come Monday morning, okay, that are going to make you stand out. But I need to have a conversation with you. You need to talk to me, right? You need to give me a little bit of information. Who are you? What kind of role do you have? And are you feeling pressure at work to implement AI? Or are you just trying to ignore it, okay? Well, if you try to ignore it, you're going to end up probably being one of these elks. And the elks get slaughtered, and the zebras stand out, and they get to stand around for a much longer period of time. Welcome, Gabriel. Appreciate you joining. If you got questions, comments, let's have a conversation. I'm happy to provide some insight and some advice. Again, my name's Joe. I'm a solutions architect. Been a solutions architect for nearly 30 years in the tech business. So I know a thing or two about implementing technology, both from a work perspective as well as from large projects. Jason, welcome. And if you're enjoying my background music, believe it or not, that is all AI generated, which is pretty crazy. Hello, Lizarum. Gabriel, you got questions, comments? Feel free to drop them into chat, and I will happy to try to give you some advice, give me an idea of perhaps the role that you have at work. Aaron, welcome. And I will try to give you some guidance. As an example, this past week, I have been using AI in my role at work, which I use it each and every day because I'm a technical person. But I have taken it to a level that even blows my mind. And the complexity of what you can get done with AI, if you know how to use it, is pretty amazing. Pardon me. Azad, welcome. So if you got questions, comments, drop them in. Hello, Susie.
Oh, fear that myth, machine stealing every gift. I laugh, lean in, ask better questions.
So we're talking AI. How can you use it at work? How can you make yourself stand out like a zebra? How can you make yourself more relevant in your current role? This is critical to keeping that job. If you don't think so, you're not paying attention. Hello, Joshua. Welcome. If you got questions, comments, drop them. Give me some insight. Who are you? What are you doing in terms of a role? And more importantly, what are you doing in terms of using AI within your role?
Right place, right time, where do you grow with the graph? I glow and it graphs every limit turning blurry.
Welcome, Digital Humper. Usernames are sometimes pretty funny. Again, you got questions, comments regarding AI and how you can implement it at your job tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday for most of us around the world, I think. So if you got questions, comments on how you can implement, hello, Sharon, AI in your role at your job tomorrow, making yourself stand out more than what you stand out today, making yourself look like the zebra and not the else, okay? This is what we're here to discuss today. Drop your comments, drop your questions, let's talk. I can only help you if you're willing to give me some insight on the role you are currently in. Welcome, Tom. Welcome, Robert. We are streaming on multiple platforms, and I can see chats through all the platforms, TikTok, X, and YouTube. So again, AI is not going away. If you think it's going away, it's not, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately or fortunately, it depends on how you look at it. I can tell you, your bosses, your management, what are they doing? They're looking to you for the insight on how you can implement AI in your current role, okay? I know this firsthand because billion-dollar companies are asking their own employees, how can you use AI in your role today and become more productive, more efficient, and provide more value to us as your employer by using AI, okay? In other words, it's very interesting. This is a whole different mindset that's going on. Management is not telling people to use AI. They're not telling people this is how you use AI. They are asking their employees to use the AI services that they have purchased or subscribed to, like Microsoft Copilot, and then coming back to the employee and saying, how are you using this? Tell us how you're using this and how it's benefiting you. It's a very interesting shift in terms of a mindset and in terms of how typically corporate America works. So if you got questions, comments, drop them in. Let's go. Hello, Toastmaster 316. You are after my own heart. I'm a big Toastmasters fan. User 4311. So you got questions, comments regarding how you become more relevant in your current role, okay, with AI, drop them. I will gladly help you out, give you some advice from 30 years of tech experience. User 311 or 4311, user 813, welcome. Perpetually Patrick, welcome. Yeah, questions or comments on how you can become more relevant at work using AI, drop them. Give me a question, give me a role. I will provide you some insight of steps you can take to become more relevant using AI at work, which you should know your management's expecting you to do. And if you don't, you're going to be an elk and not a zebra, okay? What's the difference? Zebras stand out and are kept around. Elks, they get slaughtered in the next mass layoff and usually attributed to AI efficiencies. So if you got questions, comments, drop them in there. Just let me know what role you are currently in. I'll give you an idea of what you can do. That's a super long zebra, by the way. It's a little skewed. The aspect ratio is a little skewed. Yes, I will give you that. It's trying to squeeze things in and scale them on some of these platforms. I have a big creative side, and I wish we would just all go to a 16:9 ratio, an aspect ratio, and all be done with it. But you know, gotta meet people where they're at. Whether it's portrait, landscape, on their phones, on desktops. Blue Clues, welcome. So if you got questions, comments on how you can become more relevant at work using AI, let me know what role you're currently working in, and I will give you some insights and some ideas what you can do. We are streaming on multiple platforms. We're streaming on TikTok, we're streaming on X, and we're streaming on YouTube. Welcome user 4678. Again, drop your role, your work role in chat there. I will give you some ideas what you can do in the office with AI to make yourself more relevant, how you might implement it within your specific role. Let's go.
It's that lakefront flex. When you're slowing up, from the sand to the skyline going up, throwing up, bird on the map, but we feel like one of these flights touchdown just to see how we run. Whoa, from the pier to the beach to the club, we
Blues Crew Clues, welcome back. So if you got your role, your work role, drop it into chat there, and I'll give you an idea of what you might be able to do to utilize AI in that role and make yourself more relevant, make yourself become the zebra at work. WM, welcome. We're talking about AI, how you can use it to become more relevant in your role at work, which is going to make you stand out like a zebra. When you stand out like a zebra, you're likely going to be kept around during the big layoffs, not laid off or slaughtered like the elk. Hey Jen, welcome. If you've got questions, comments on how I might be able to give you some advice within your current role at work and utilize AI, drop your comment in there. Let me know what role you're currently working, and I will give you some feedback. If you've got a general question on AI too, feel free to drop it in there. I'm happy to answer it. If you've got a general question about myself, I will even entertain those. Welcome, welcome. Again, we're streaming on multiple platforms. We're streaming on X, we're streaming on YouTube, long and shorts, and on TikTok. Welcome, Different Six. Questions, comments on how you might be able to use AI in your current role at work? Drop the role into chat. I will give you some feedback. If you've got a general question on AI, you can drop that too. And if you got a general question about this person sitting in front of you on a live stream, go ahead and drop that in. I will entertain that question. Welcome, Brent. Silly Billy. Who's got questions, comments? Drop them in. So, if you've got a role at work and you're looking at trying to figure out how you can implement AI to make yourself more relevant, make yourself look closer like a zebra, even though that zebra is kind of long in the image, as I was pointed out earlier, I'm here to give you some advice that hopefully you can implement come Monday morning when you're back at it. You want to be that zebra that stands out. You don't want to be the elk. Also, if you happen to be entertaining installing OpenClaw, please, if you're a technical person, highly technical, fine, go ahead and do it, but make sure you brush up on cybersecurity, locking down your URLs, implementing VPNs, things of this nature, so you do it properly and don't leave yourself exposed. And for God's sake, make sure that you're putting a budget on your LLM token usage, okay? If that's not something you're doing, or if you're thinking about installing OpenClaw and you just happen to be a small or medium-sized business, please don't, because your opportunities to get hacked are going to be significant, okay? It's a lot of hype around a lot of nothing, to be honest. And I'm a big technology fan, so I'm not anti-technology by any stretch of the imagination, but you got to know what you're doing, and you got to be able to implement it safely. And when I say safely, it's important to implement it safely so you don't get hacked and have basically your entire digital life stolen, okay? Or worse, your bank accounts compromised. So please keep that in mind if you're considering implementing or deploying OpenClaw. Welcome, Susan. So if you got questions, though, on how you can implement AI within your current role to make yourself stand out as a zebra, not blend in as an elk, drop your role into chat and I will give you some insight. That's what I'm here for. Says, who needs LLM tokens when you can just use Claude's? Oh, somebody's been reading the latest news. The funny thing about that comment, though, and thank you, Cloud TZN, for that, is that that policy has always been there, right? It's just a matter that they didn't enforce it very well, or I guess minimally enforced it. But people were also sending in false headers, right? HTTP headers. They were sending in false headers to bypass it, and so they basically started shutting that down. So yeah, everybody likes to try to hack around, things, get something for nothing kind of thing, and then they cry about it when they get caught and their accounts get banned. So I hear you. If you're still out there, Cloud, there was an interesting statement just recently made by Peter, the lead developer on OpenClaw. and I actually put together a nice little diagram for OpenClaw. If you take a look at my postings out there, you'll see it, some architectural diagrams. But one of the things he actually called out was do not use a local model and don't use a non-sophisticated model. So he really emphasizes whether it's OpenAI's ChatGPT, one of the later models, or Claude, is really the most important thing in terms of preventing yourself from getting prompt injection, because these local models and the smaller models and the less expensive models, they're not as sophisticated in terms of detecting prompt injection. And the prompt injection basically can come from many different ways. Let's see, interesting. I didn't know that. Knew the policy was in the TOS. That's the model I use. Hopefully you're using the, well, you know what? Here, are you using it directly? This is for Cloud TZN. If you're using it directly, going against the Claude API, or are you going through something like OpenRouter? Because I started exploring OpenRouter just last week, because at some point in time I am going to deploy OpenClaw on a VPS and do it in a very safe and locked down manner. But I'm going to wait for the commits to fall off, because right now if you fork that project and you watch the commits, they're having like 1,500 commits in 2 days, which is insane. So it clearly shows that there's a lot of instability in that code. And even Peter, if you follow him on X, he's trying to keep up with stuff, and it's almost impossible. So I'll wait for it to settle down, and then I'll go ahead and I will deploy it. But I'm going to use OpenRouter, which gives you access to all sorts of models, right? Gives you a nice secure budget interface, so you can set your budget and you can decide whether you want to increase it or decrease it, or prepay, or etc. So it's very safe in terms of not having a runaway LLM and then finding yourself with a huge API bill. So I'm so basic. I just use desktop app, so I guess it's just gotcha. Okay, well, there's plenty of stuff out there, but check out, if you are thinking about deploying it, right, check out OpenRouter. It was something I ran across. I really like actually the platform, and plus you've got access to all sorts of models, and because they wrap everything with a standard API, once you implement it, you can change models behind the scenes without having to update your code, which is nice. So, but I'm an emerging solutions architect. Any advice on how to leverage AI? Absolutely. So there's two key things that I'm sharing with highly technical people that I work with each and every day. The very first thing that I share with folks is that you need to think AI first, okay? And so what does that mean? When you have a problem, and most problems are made up of multiple smaller problems. So when you have a problem, the first thing you need to do is you need to kind of think about it and break it down into smaller components of smaller problems. Once you do that, you then need to start thinking about AI first, okay? How can I use AI to solve the first problem? And I'm going to give you a very, very simple example. So in my world, I deal with data types of all kinds, whether it's XML or JSON or structured or non-structured, right? So when I'm trying to solve or develop a solution that maybe is dependent upon this data, right? But the data is not in the format that I need, right? That's a smaller problem, or component of my larger problem that I'm trying to solve. And so if I think AI first, I think, oh, okay, the client gave me JSON data, but I need XML. Well, guess what? I can use AI to do the conversion in a very short amount of time. Or I can take one structure and transform it to a different structure. Or if the client cannot or won't give me sample data, okay, I can make my own sample data. So this is where you have to start thinking AI first, and you have to, especially as a solutions architect, you have to think about a larger problem into its smaller components, okay? And once you start doing that, you then can start leveraging AI. Now, what's going to happen eventually, right, is as you start breaking these components down, or these larger problems, into smaller components, you can eventually start thinking as the AI platforms and orchestration platforms evolve, on how you can actually leverage agents to kind of manage each of those components for you. In essence, that's what an agent does. An AI agent is handling a subset of the larger problem, okay? And then once it's finished handling that subset of a larger problem, so a small component of that larger problem, whatever the result is, it's handing that off to the next agent, right? So in my simple example here, maybe there's an agent that's responsible for data migration or data transformation or data cleansing or data or sample data creation to meet various use cases and business cases, right? So you have to break things down that way. But absolutely, I just say, think AI first, break down those large problems into smaller problems, and then once you do, how can you apply, okay? And if you're stuck, well, guess what? AI will tell you what to do next, right? So this is where people get stuck. We're used to being stuck with problems that we can't solve because we either don't have somebody to ask about them, or we do some Googling and we don't come up with an answer. But in today's world, that has all changed. When you feel stuck, the easiest way to get unstuck is to have a conversation with AI. Now, I will give you one of my best pieces of advice, okay? When you're stuck and you need to have a conversation with AI to become unstuck, okay, as you're trying to solve a larger problem, go and create yourself another chat session in whatever AI model you're using. And if you have multiple AI models, then go have that conversation perhaps with another AI model, okay? And go and work on that sub-component or that sub-problem on its own, solve it, and then once you've solved it, come back to that main project. Because the worst thing you can do is confuse the context, if you will, within a larger chat session. You want to keep those chat sessions very focused on what you are trying to accomplish, and you'll get more out of the AI model that way. Apple user, welcome. Whiskey 420. Is that a play on whiskey? Welcome. So if you have questions, comments, anything I can help you with, insight, happy to do so. Okay, so you use systems thinking mindset to get granular AI-driven solutions. What model do you recommend? So that's a good, you framed that very, very well, better than I did on a live stream. I actually use 3 primary models. I use Gemini, and I tend to use the latest release of the models across all the platforms. So Gemini, which I pay for, Claude, which I pay for, OpenAI, which I pay for. So as you can imagine, I am paying for multiple models. Now, I'm fortunate that in my business or my 9-to-5 job, if you will, which is not really 9 to 5, it's more like 8 to 5:30. But anyways, in that job, it's a large corporation. They pay for the variety of AI tools that we use. And in that particular case, primarily using GPT 5.2 Deep Thinking, because it's available in our Microsoft Copilot that we have available for enterprise. And it has actually worked out very, very well. When they first deployed it, it was initially on GPT 4.0, which was terrible, okay? But GPT 5.2, especially Deep Thinking, is an excellent model to use for a lot of your enterprise type work. I also have access to GitHub Copilot, again through my company. But on the side, in terms of what I do outside of my 9-to-5 job, I again use Gemini, I use Claude, and I use OpenAI, and I pay for all 3 of those. And I have always loved, love is a strong word. I was really focused on using whatever the latest GPT was, GPT 5.2 now. But I have begun to use more Claude in combination. Now, when I'm programming, I will use actually Codex, whatever the latest version is, and Claude, and I use them simultaneously. And the reason why is I found that there are times that I run into problems, and I don't know whether it's true still as of today, because things change so fast in this area, okay? But I can tell you, as of several weeks ago, when one model was getting stuck as related to kind of looping, felt like it was looping, trying to solve a problem from a programmatic perspective in a small little SaaS that I'm building, then I would shift to the other one, and the other one typically could come up with a solution that was more direct and would implement it, and I could move on. So sometimes I would play them against each other. Now, according to AI, this is a smart thing to do. I think it's been pretty beneficial for myself when I've kind of gotten stuck. Again, I can't emphasize enough, when you feel stuck, that's the time to have a conversation with AI. Whether it's the same model or a different one, it'll typically get you unstuck. So awesome. I primarily use Gemini and Claude. I pay for Claude and get Gemini free with school. Okay, that's good. Very, very good. Yeah, I've got the max plan with Claude because I just don't like hitting limits. But to be honest, I haven't used it as much as I should in terms of the max. Welcome, Chuck. Welcome, Apple user. So if you guys have questions, comments regarding AI, implementing AI in your current job or role, I'm happy to give some insight there. Just drop me a comment letting me know what your role is, and I'll try to give you some insight in terms of how you can implement AI within your current role, make yourself look more valuable to your company, make yourself stand out like a zebra versus being one of the many elks in the process of getting slaughtered. You're welcome. Appreciate you following. Always appreciated. Check out the. You should check out the. Especially if you're a solutions architect and you're in school, you should check out one of my recent posts with the OpenClaw architecture diagram. So that was a perfect example of taking a larger problem and breaking it down into multiple components and utilizing a combination of. It was Claude I used for the actual model, but it was in combination with some specific prompts, and then also Nano Banana Pro, which is excellent when it comes to text representation, and that really worked out well for those diagrams. Gave a very organic look and feel to those diagrams. And the one thing I would say when it comes to AI that people do miss, right? It is not foolproof, right? And so I've learned as much from AI as I have learned, I would say, in general, when I'm having to research things and implement things myself without AI. And what I mean by that is that the diagrams that I did were a perfect example. I knew those concepts, right? But after I had created those diagrams, I went through those diagrams before I would send them to anybody and made sure that the concepts made sense, as well as that they were what I would call accurate to the project. But by doing so, it solidified in my own mind some things. And one of the things that I'd actually called out in there that I found very interesting was JSON-L. Right, so if you're familiar with JSON data files, which are been all the rage for like the last 3 or 4 years, there's a JSON-L, and so when I saw that in the diagram I had created, I paused because I'm like, okay, to be honest, I never heard of JSON-L, so I did a little searching or a little bit of additional AI interaction, and specifically broke that down and found out that it is a real thing, and the L stands for line. And so it was interesting because I discovered basically a new data format that I didn't realize even existed. So you can learn a lot, and this is what people miss. People think AI is taking over the world, right? But I'm telling you, and I can't emphasize this enough, if you embrace AI and you embrace it in such a way that might feel uncomfortable, you will learn so much more along the way than you will ever had the opportunity to learn had you not And that is what companies and businesses, and whether you want to go into business for yourself, that is what you're going to need. Okay, you're being given an opportunity, and this is what people don't really realize. You are being given an opportunity, okay, as a human being on this planet that nobody has ever had before, and that is the democratization of knowledge and skills. If you're willing to embrace it, and you're willing to take that extra effort and time in terms of learning it and truly implementing it. I mean, it's mind-blowing. And so I know it's scary for a lot of people, but at the end of the day, if you embrace it, I'm telling you, you're going to come out on the other side so much better off from the standpoint of smarter, more skilled, and just feeling like you can take on pretty much any challenge, at least from a knowledge perspective and a skill perspective, that ever existed. So if you got questions, comments, drop them in. I'm happy to keep the conversation going. And Cloud, I'll check them out. That's really interesting. Familiar with JSON, but see, there you go. I didn't know the L existed either. See, what did I think? I thought it was a hallucination, right? Because that's what we've gotten used to. But I can honestly say that, early days of using the various AI models, there definitely was hallucination. But I can honestly say, I don't think I've run into anything from a hallucination perspective, probably for a good 3 to 6 months. And so when people come, online and post, whether it's LinkedIn or whatever else, and they're bashing AI in some form or another, a lot of times they're doing that to make themselves feel better, right? They're trying to make themselves feel more or not lesser to AI as an example. But when you start digging in, you're going, hey, what model are you using? How did you do it? So often they're using earlier models, or even worse, they're using platforms that are auto selecting the models for them behind the scenes. Okay, and unfortunately, when auto selection is made for models behind the scenes, depending on the platform, 9 times out of 10, it's going to select the cheapest model to use to try to answer that question. And that's when you're going to end up with most likely hallucinations. So if you ever run into a loop, Cloud, with any of the AI models, here's my suggestion. It's a little tip and trick. It doesn't always work, but it often does. Simply add into, and I'll type it into to chat here. I would add this. Okay, so basically what I just typed there is, and I'll drop that into my other chat over here too. So basically what I just added there is seed, colon, and then a string of random numbers. Okay, so behind the scenes for most generative AI, there is a seed. Okay, it's a random number that's used to prevent basically AI from generating the exact same thing multiple times. Okay, so if you basically prompt inject, which in essence is what this is doing, you can potentially override, right, the seed if it's if it's for some reason using the same seed behind the scenes. So I have found that sometimes just adding that line in there, and sometimes I'll call it out as context, will often shift. This is especially true, or has been true for me, with some image models in which I keep getting seemingly the same image over and over again. I throw the seed, colon, and a random string of numbers in there, and then typically it will start producing more variance or unique outcome. So hopefully that's helpful. Any other questions, comments, drop them in. In terms of, you say platforms, are you referring to social media? On pretty much all of them. Solutions Joe on TikTok and YouTube and X, and then LinkedIn, which is my professional is Joe, and the last name is Gagnon, Gagnon. Should be able to find me out there. questions, comments, drop them in. See if I can help you out. You too. Have a great night. Have a good week. Okay. Any other questions, comments, drop them in, and let's have a quick conversation. Otherwise, I am going to wrap things up, I think. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Everybody have a good rest of your Sunday night and a good week, good coming week ahead. Take care. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.